Honorable Tasarajan Pillay Chidambaram, Minister of Information and Communication Technology of Mauritius, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers from participating countries, Professor Tim Unwin, Chief Executive Officer of the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization, Mr. Das Thoma, Chairman of the CTO Forum, Mr. Anusha Palpita, Chairman of the CTO, Mr. Trilok Dwarka, Chairperson of ICTA, Dr. Krishna Ulan, Executive Director of ICTA, the Secretary General of Commission de l'Océan Indien, all delegates from Mauritius and abroad, the CTO staff, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Government of the Republic of Mauritius, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, and the ICT Authority welcome you all for the 10th Annual Forum and the 52nd Council meeting of the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization. The ICT sector is an effervescent one in Mauritius. Last month, the Ministry of ICT organized the ICT BPO International Conference. The ICTA has been involved this month in ITU events in Thailand and Sri Lanka, in COMESA events in Zambia also. We are on the onset of a CTO week in Mauritius. Next month, Mauritius will host the ICT Ministers meeting of the Southern African Development Community. This demonstrates our commitment, involvement, and willingness to move the ICT sector forward. I seek this opportunity to congratulate the ICTA, the Information and Communication Technologies Authority of Mauritius, for having been awarded last week ICT Best Regulator 2012 for Southern and Eastern Africa. We put our hands together for this great achievement. Our sincere wishes go to the board, management, staff, and all operators and stakeholders of ICTA. Coming back to today's forum, the main theme, as you know, is mobile broadband for development. Broadband is the new way of life. It has been proved by the World Bank that a 10% increase in broadband penetration leads to an increase of 1.4% in GDP. In another report released by the World Bank last July, it is said that mobile broadband has a higher positive impact than a fixed broadband on economic growth, particularly in developing nations. The report recommended a number of supply and demand side policies to foster increased adoption of mobile broadband in markets worldwide. This information reflects the importance of this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, the opening remarks of the 10th Annual CTO Forum will be made this morning by Mr. Das Thoma. Mr. Thoma is currently the chairman of Air Mauritius and of Mauritius Telecom. Since 2007, he has been a regular speaker for the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization, and he is serving as executive member of the CTO for the second consecutive year. Mr. Das Thoma, the floor is yours.
Good morning to all of you. Your Excellency, Mr. Raj Keshwar Pariag, DCSK, GOSK, President of the Republic of Mauritius, the Honorable Tasarajan Pillay Chidambaram, Minister of Information and Communication Technology of the Republic of Mauritius, Honorable Ministers, Mr. Trilok Dwarka, Chairman of ICTA, Mr. Anusha Palpita, Chairman of CTO, Professor Tim Unwin, CEO of Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization, Dr. Ulan, Director of ICTA, former Chairman and CEO of the CTO, members of the CTO, Mr. Jean-Claude Delestrac, Secretary General of the Indian Ocean Commission, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As the chairman of the CTO Forum, I am particularly proud as a Mauritian to host all of you in our beautiful country, especially for that 10th forum. Yes. Some of you will remember what Mark Twain said in the early days, that Mauritius was created first and then God copied Mauritius to create paradise. I hope you'll be able to discover the paradise which is Mauritius. The CTO's mission is to promote, facilitate, and guide members in using ICT to deliver effective development interventions. In delivering this mandate, the CTO works across many stakeholder groups, from public sector to private sector. In fact, my presence here today is due to the fact that the CTO is a multi-stakeholder partnership in which Mauritius Telecom is a very active member. By bringing together various interests, the CTO is able to generate a policy and regulatory dialogue that delves into many areas of ICTs, of which broadband is a major one. The outcomes of these dialogues have greatly assisted its 40+ member countries in reaching new heights to leverage ICTs for development. The CTO's program for development and training remains one of the largest capacity building programs of the Commonwealth. As its chairman, I am proud to note that Mauritius Telecom has been a strong member of this program and is very supportive for many years. Moreover, its research and consultancy services have been assisting developing countries to gain cutting-edge knowledge in various fields of the ICT. The forum is but one international conference of the CTO that it organizes regularly. Its conferences deal with subjects ranging from digital broadcasting switchover to e-governance to cybersecurity. Again, the aim of the CTO is to build the capacity of its members so that they can benefit from the benefits of the ICT revolution. The theme chosen for this forum, being mobile broadband for development, is particularly appropriate for Mauritius, as it fits the government policy and objective of making Mauritius a broadband island. Subjects like broadband access, security, infrastructure development, capacity building, cost-effective services, 4G technology, spectrum management, security and privacy, satellite broadband, and regulatory frameworks can only help operators, suppliers, vendors, and regulators to ensure that broadband becomes affordable to all citizens, wherever we are and whoever we are. To conclude, I wish that all of us as participants will have very fruitful deliberations, and I would also like to thank our dignitaries for marking their presence today, this morning. Thank you very much.
This conference, as you know, is being hosted by the Information and Communication Technologies Authority on behalf of the CTO. The chairperson of ICTA, Mr. Trilok Dwaka, is also the chairman of the Independent Broadcasting Authority, the IBA. We have now the pleasure of inviting Mr. Trilok Dwaka to deliver his speech.
Good morning, everybody. Your Excellency, Mr. Rajkeshwar Paryag, President of the Republic of Mauritius, Honorable Tasarajan Pillay Chidamon, Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Ministers, Mr. Dastuma, Chairman of the CTO Forum, Mr. Anusha Palpita, Chairman of the CTO, Professor Tim Unwin, CEO of the CTO, former Chairman and CEOs of the CTO, members of the CTO, members of the Board of the ICT Authority, Dr. Krishna Ulan, Executive Director of the ICT Authority, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Secretary General of the Indian Ocean Commission, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the ICT Authority, may I extend a very warm welcome to all CTO delegates who have come to Mauritius from various parts of the world. I'm deeply honored as the host of this event to have been invited to address a few words to this distinguished gathering at the opening of this forum, which marks a milestone for the ICTA, as it is for the first time ever that the CTO Annual Forum is being held in Mauritius. I feel also extremely pleased and privileged to welcome the President of the Republic of Mauritius, Your Excellency Mr. Kailash Periag, to this twin event organized by the Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization, the ICT Authority, and the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology of Mauritius. It is indeed a great sign of encouragement to have Your Excellency gracing this occasion, and may I, on behalf of one and all, sincerely thank you for your most distinguished presence here today. Mauritius, I dare say, is a very well-known face at the CTO, where it has been participating in multiple events and workshops on a regular basis at different levels, with the Minister of ICT himself leading a delegation to the Commonwealth E-Accessibility Summit held in London very recently. The organization of the CTO Forum in Mauritius testifies to our long-standing partnership and is a recognition of our efforts to join in this synergy of nations to promote a sector that has become one of the key drivers of development, not only in Mauritius, but as well as across the Commonwealth and in the world. Distinguished guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, may I, on behalf of the ICTA, acknowledge the massive and stupendous work being carried out by the CTO, which provides one of the highest level platforms for ICT players to come together to network and exchange experience and practices, and which throughout the years has been an example of a very resourceful organization addressing multifarious challenges with very limited means. The good work done by Mr. Garbra is bound to be pursued by his very dynamic successor, Professor Tim Unwin, the newly appointed CEO of the CTO, whom we very warmly welcome at his first CTO Forum in Mauritius. Today's forum brings together a distinguished gathering of professionals in the international ICT industry. Among them are academics, key industry players, government officials, and regulators who handle very tough situations in their respective countries. Your thoughts, viewpoints, and active participation in deliberations will keep the entire forum alive and will allow us, I'm sure, to forge ahead in many path-breaking ways. CTO's forum theme is Mobile Broadband for Development. The Internet is today at the very heart of the globalized world, transforming our lives in ways which we had never thought. There is no area of human endeavor which has been left untouched by the Internet. Mobile technology is expanding the digital frontiers far beyond what was even imaginable a few short years ago. To ensure that mobile broadband reaches its full potential, nations have embarked upon the deployment of mobile broadband technologies and are supporting the proliferation of mobile computing devices through which to access the Internet. Connectivity, but also affordability and availability of devices like mobile phones have become essential to reach new users wherever they may be. The challenges are immense. As one speaker at the recently held Broadband World Forum said, the key difference between the Beijing Olympics and London was that in 2008, the iPhone was 1 year old and that there was no expectation of providing large-scale connectivity for smartphones, while in London it was part of daily life and expected, clearly demonstrating how far we have moved on and the challenge of delivering effective mobile broadband. We know for sure that broadband is our destiny, is our future, and that it will become more and more entrenched in our culture. We have, in this respect, in our different countries, to create the necessary regulatory environment to allow for a quantum leap in mobile broadband without being oblivious of the next billion waiting to be connected. The ICT Authority of Mauritius, aware of the challenges we all face, has begun engaging stakeholders on the issue of spectrum reform to align the sector with modern, flexible frameworks that will allow innovation and adoption of new technologies meeting the ICT needs of the people. The commitment of ours is reflected in the measures ICT has taken to release 4G LTE spectrum to provide high-speed broadband services over the 4G platform at this stage, and with plans to move beyond to the full LTE Mbps delivery mark by 2015. Future spectrum release will be one of the challenges ahead, but one which I'm confident players involved can meet with a concerted approach. I'm thinking especially of the digital dividend to be gained from the terrestrial digital migration. Digital migration being an area where Mauritius, as many of you might be aware, has been a forerunner as the digitalization process here started way back in 1999, 2000, further to a political will, to a political vision expressed by the Prime Minister when he spoke about the need of liberalization, about the need to find new frequencies to launch new services. We therefore started the digital switchover process in 2000, culminating with a parallel run in 2005, and we had the pleasure of collaborating with the CTO since 2006 in promoting DSO throughout Africa. CTO, we have to say, has been relentless in its efforts to accelerate the DTT uptake, especially as we are approaching fast the ITU deadline of 17th June 2015. This minor bifurcation, if it is one, serves a purpose. I'm sure delegates will concur with me that we all look up to the CTO to provide the same kind of leadership role to promote mobile broadband in our respective countries, while retaining a holistic approach that will not allow the CTO to forget other challenges that are in front of us. I'm sure the very enriching and enlightening debates that we shall have will help us to be better equipped to shape policies to serve our people better. In this context, as the host country, we'll take the opportunity of this forum to share with you the Mauritian strategy for the promotion of broadband services and infrastructure. With a mobile phone penetration rate of over 100% in Mauritius, we at the ICTA specifically will look forward to tap into the findings of the forum to fine-tune the regulatory measures required to ensure that mobile broadband networks can be accessed by Mauritian end users through the use of their mobile devices in an affordable, reliable, and secure manner. I'm confident that the presentations and discussions generated during the next few days, as well as the face-to-face interaction, will consolidate the spirit of partnership and the mutual values of CTO members and indeed of the Commonwealth. May I finally be allowed to thank the management and staff of the Ministry of ICT, the energetic team of the ICT Authority under the leadership of Dr. Ulan, the CTO team, everyone and all who have taken care of the program and logistics arrangements, and who I'm sure will see to it that Mauritius runs the extra mile to please delegates. Any lapses, omissions, or shortcomings would be unintentional and, of course, deeply regretted. Do not hesitate to contact the friendly people around here to help you make the best of your stay in our country. With these words, may I conclude by wishing all delegates a very successful forum and the foreign delegates present a very pleasant stay in Mauritius. Thank you.
Dear delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the staff of the ICTA has worked on a 3-minute video presentation which focuses on ICT within the socio-economic development of Mauritius. Our video operator is ready, so we go for it. Professor Tim Unwin became Chief Executive Officer of the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization in September last year. Since that time, he has led the organization to embark on an ambitious new strategic plan, which includes integrating the use of ICT for people with disabilities into the core activities of the CTO. He has a strong commitment to the Commonwealth, not only through his research experiences in 8 Commonwealth countries, but also through his work for the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission in the United Kingdom. In an interview to the Mauritian press last week, Professor Unwin said that the CTO Forum in Mauritius will lay emphasis on mobile broadband for development, which is one of the 6 core themes that the CTO is focusing on its current strategic plan. He hopes that it will also be a real opportunity for Mauritius to showcase its work in using ICT for development amongst all Commonwealth countries. Professor Tim Unwin, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Mr. Rajkeshwar Puriag, GCSK, GOSK, President of the Republic of Mauritius. Honourable Tasarajan Pillai Chidambaram, Minister of Information and Communication Technology. Mr. Trilok Darkwa, Chairman of the ICTA. Honourable Ministers, both from Commonwealth and other countries. Das Thomas, Chair of the CTO Forum. Anusha Palpita, Chair of the CTO. Former Chairman and CEOs of the CTO, members of the Council of CTO, Dr. Krishna Ulan, Executive Director of ICTA, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Secretary General of the Indian Ocean Commission, representatives of international organisations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames, messieurs, friends both old and new. It is an enormous pleasure for me to join my colleagues and good friends, Das Thomas and Trilok Dwarka, in welcoming you to the 10th Annual Forum of the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organisation and our 52nd Council meeting. In so doing, I welcome senior officials and representatives from some 36 countries of the world, from the Caribbean to the Pacific via Africa and Asia, including several that are not yet within the Commonwealth. Indeed, it is a particular pleasure for me to be welcoming back representatives of countries such as India and the Seychelles, who in recent years have perhaps not been quite as active as they once were in the CTO. I'm also delighted to see so many of our members and partners contributing to this important forum. And I would especially like to acknowledge here the very close working relationship that we are forging with the International Telecommunications Union, as well as representatives of African regional organisations such as AFRINIC. I can think of no better place to be celebrating our 10th anniversary forum on the theme of mobile broadband for development than here in Mauritius. In recent years, representatives from Mauritius Telecom and ICTA have been amongst the CTO's most supportive members, and we are immensely grateful to them for their generous sponsorship and hosting of this forum. Indeed, I think it was largely Das Thomas's personal persuasion that meant that last year I had the honour of accepting the position that I now hold. Das and Mauritius, thank you for that. In accepting Mauritius' kind offer to convene this year's event, we were cognizant of the very considerable strides that the country has taken in placing the role of ICTs at the forefront of its development agenda, as we just saw on the video we have seen. Under the leadership of the government, and especially of the Prime Minister and the Honourable Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Mauritius has championed the cause of ICTs and of mobile broadband in particular. Its national broadband policy 2012 to 2020 has been signed off and was recently showcased at the Global Symposium of Regulators in Sri Lanka. Mobile penetration reached more than 100% last December, and the 1800 megahertz bandwidth has been released, enabling the rollout of 4G as we speak. To encourage innovative approaches by operators, earlier this year the ICTA simplified procedures and reduced the time frame for approval of tariff applications from 180 days to a mere 15 days. And as we've already heard, in recognition of all that Mauritius has achieved, it is very fitting to congratulate the country once again for winning Africa Telecom People's Best Regulator for Southern and Eastern Africa Award for 2012. I'm sure we all look forward to hearing much more about the other innovative approaches that Mauritius has taken to ensure that it remains at the cutting edge of innovation in the field of ICTs. In welcoming you all, let me just whet your appetite, not just with respect to the generous hospitality and the culinary expertise of our Mauritian hosts, but also in terms of the agenda for our forum. The CTO's current strategic plan has identified 6 niche areas where we will be concentrating in particular, and mobile broadband is one of these. The forum's programme covers many aspects of this theme, from policy agendas to the practical issues associated with rolling out the necessary infrastructure. At the forum, we are also addressing the regulatory challenges and the importance of security issues. This year's forum is also innovative in terms of the range of activities that will be running alongside the plenary sessions. We are delighted that Orange will be featuring its Apps Lab and that there's also an opportunity for Mauritian apps developers to showcase what they have been doing. Furthermore, 2 teams of young developers will be competing in a 30-hour challenge to create an app that is very development-focused. And on Wednesday, I very much hope that you will all be able to join us for a visit to MTEL's state-of-the-art data centre, which will also provide us with an opportunity to see something of the beautiful landscape of Mauritius. Ladies and gentlemen, we have provided the menu for you. It is now up to you to take advantage of the fare on offer and ensure that you return to your home countries committed to doing something different, having participated in this year's forum. Please make that your commitment now, that you will identify at least one thing that you will do differently when you return home. In concluding, I would like to pay my own tribute to the enormous amount of work that staff from our hosts, the ICTA, have put into ensuring the success of this forum, under the immensely able leadership of my good friends Trilok Dwarka and the Executive Director, Dr. Krishna Ulan. And I would also like to say here a particular thank you to my own team at the CTO, especially Vanita, Rakesh and Lasantha, as well as our new events manager, Nigel Kay. If you have not already met them, please do so and thank them in your own ways. Without our sponsors, this event would have been impossible. I cannot name all of them, but I will just say a special thank you to our diamond, silver and bronze sponsors who are listed on the front cover of the programme. Your Excellency, the President, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, my 5 minutes is probably more than up. May I welcome you immensely sincerely to this year's CTO Forum on the theme of mobile broadband for development. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in Mauritius, we have a highly committed Minister of ICT, Honorable Tasarajan Pillai Chidambaram. He is by profession an attorney at law and was engaged in the private practice since 1987, mainly in civil, commercial and tax issues. He was sworn in as Minister of Information and Communication Technology in May 2010. The advent of a new Minister of ICT, keen to accelerate the pace of development with fresh ideas and accessible to all stakeholders, has given a new impetus and newer ambitions to the sector. Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
His Excellency, Mr. Rajkeshwar Puriag, the President of the Republic of Mauritius, Professor Tim Unwin, the CEO of the Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization, Honorable Ministers for ICT of the Commonwealth, representatives of intergovernmental organizations, Mr. Das Thomas, Chairman of the CTO Forum, Mr. Trilok Dwarka, Chairman of the ICTA, Mr. Ulan, Dr. Ulan, Executive Director of the ICTA, the Secretary General of the Indian Ocean Commission, Mr. Jean-Claude Delestrac, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to extend a very warm welcome to you all at this opening ceremony for the 52nd Council meeting and the 10th Annual CTO Forum. It is indeed my privilege and pleasure to address you. At the very first instance, I would like to thank the CTO for having accepted Mauritius to host this event. And this is in line with the policy of our government, which wants to make Mauritius not only a known tourist destination, but also a preferred, safe, and secured ICT destination. Gentlemen, mobile innovation are creating today several structural changes across the world, rendering it flatter and global. Digital technologies have growth potential for the GNP of many countries. The primary challenge, therefore, for government worldwide is to address the constant pressure of defining and reviewing their ICT policies and regulatory frameworks to capture and maximize on the benefits and opportunities that digital technologies present. As it has been rightly pointed out by Professor Tim Unwin, mobile penetration in Mauritius has exceeded the 100%. We are now at 104% as per Statistics Office for the year 2010 to 2011. And as you can see, and as I always repeat it, here in Mauritius, we have more mobile subscribers than Mauritius itself. And this is why we choose such type of forum. We want to host this type of forum so as to bring more energy to our sector. Gentlemen, from this perspective, the regrouping of stakeholders involved in the policy formulation for the Commonwealth under a forum of this kind is indeed a laudable one. Such a forum will provide a unique platform to every Commonwealth member to address pertinent issues of common interest. This meeting is coming at a point where, in Mauritius, the government has spearheaded a number of major policies, strategies, and innovative initiatives for the development of the ICT sector, thereby stimulating positive changes in the local ICT sector. We would be only too glad to share this experience with which we look forward at the same time to learning from you in your own areas of specialization and competence. This forum will undoubtedly lay the blueprint for bilateral and multilateral cooperation among the Commonwealth countries. Ladies and gentlemen, in Mauritius, the government has showed its highest level of commitment to make ICTs one of the most important pillars of our economy. And in this regard, we have constantly revisited our policies to make them responsive to the new opportunities and challenges of the sector. As we can see, we are living today in the Euro crisis. We cannot stop our movements only because of that crisis. We have to convert it into opportunities. And as such, my ministry has elaborated policies such as the National Information Communication Technology Strategic Plan for the year 2011 to 2014, and the National Broadband Policy for the year 2012 to 2020, which I should say has recently received the special attention of the ITU and the UN Broadband Commission in a case study published only on September. This is what we want to have, to achieve that international recognition. We do not only have the ambition of making ICT the main pillar, we want at the same time to be a model. We have the ambition of making Mauritius a regional hub for ICT, and it is in this line that we are doing business. Gentlemen, with respect to capacity building in the sector, the ICT Skill Development Program has as objective to address the talent shortage in the sector. Our approach has been inclusive with the motto set out by our Prime Minister, that is, to put people first. And, you know, when we are going to introduce technology in the life of people, of course, the end result will be putting people first. There must be coherence in the way government conduct business. And I'm happy that under the wise leadership of our Prime Minister, things are going in that direction. And we at the Ministry of ICT What we want is to be in line with that vision to modernize and to make Mauritius best known in the world. I'm pleased to share with the delegates that in this program, much emphasis has been put to empower our brothers and sisters with disabilities to become part of the mainstream economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, to harness the advantage of the digital technology, let me express my earnest view on some of the key initiatives that we policymakers should take into account. First, the firm commitment of government to develop the ICT sector. Second, a well-laid out ICT policy framework be formulated. Third, the sector should be open to full competition in gradual manner, of course. Fourth, the government should become one of the biggest ICT users. And above all, content creation should be systematically encouraged, with application being citizens-centric. And in this manner, ICT would become a way of life. I hope that this meeting will stretch over this week, will enable all participants to chart out new vision in relation to the subject content, and I do not have the shadow of a doubt that this exercise will be a very fruitful one for everyone. Since we are living in a context of new networks, ladies and gentlemen, let me express my wish to see new networks of people in place so that we may make the best use of our own resources for our mutual benefits. Mauritius do not possess any natural resources like gold, silver, diamond, and all that. Our main resource is our people. And that's why our Prime Minister always says that we have to put people first. Because if we want to believe in Mauritius, we have to believe in our people. Gentlemen, I think it's time now to wish you rather a very enriching interaction, and I, of course, thank you for your kind attention. Bye.
Thank you, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest this morning is the President of the Republic of Mauritius, His Excellency Mr. Rajkeshwar Paryag. Mr. Paryag was Minister of Social Security from 1980 to 1982, Minister of Health from 1984 to 1986, Minister of Economic Planning, Information and Telecommunications from 1995 to 1997. He was appointed Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade from 1997 to the year 2000. He was elected Speaker of the National Assembly in July 2005, re-elected Speaker of the National Assembly in May 2010. Mr. Rajkeshwar Paryag was sworn in as President of the Republic of Mauritius in July of this year. If I may be allowed to add, our new President is very much a people's President who is giving a new dimension to his functions, showing much concern about the social divide, and of course, the digital divide cannot be far from his preoccupations. Let's put our hands together to welcome the President of the Republic of Mauritius. We invite you, Your Excellency, to deliver your speech and to declare the CTO Forum open.
Honorable Tasarajan Pide Chedambram, Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Mr. Trilok Dwaka, Chairman, Information and Communication Technologies Authority, Honorable Ministers, Mr. Das Toma, Chairman of the CTO Forum, Mr. Anuja Palpita, Chairman of the CTO, Professor Tim Unwin, CEO of the CTO, former Chairman of the CEOs of the CTO, members of the CTO, Mr. Jean-Claude Delestrac, Secretary General of the Indian Ocean Commission, His Excellency, the British High Commissioner, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, and a very warm welcome to you all. My special greetings to all the foreign delegates who have traveled to Mauritius from different parts of the Commonwealth for this 10th annual Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization Forum being hosted by the ICT Authority of Mauritius. I understand this forum is a constitutionally mandated event of the CTO. Its main objective is to build capacity and create enabling policy and regulatory frameworks in the Commonwealth countries. I'm also informed that during this year's meeting, special attention will be paid to mobile broadband for development. I wish to congratulate the organizers for having chosen Mauritius as their venue for this important gathering. As you know, ICT constitutes one of the key pillars of the Mauritian economy. In fact, the third pillar after the tourism sector. The government of Mauritius is committed to accelerating its development and is channeling considerable efforts and means into the creation of a vibrant ICT sector in an endeavor to steer the country towards modernity and equity. I admit that this is no easy task, as it entails the successful crossing over of many hurdles, as well as the tapping of adequate economic capacity building and infrastructural resources so as to ensure the sustainability of the ICT sector. Also, careful planning is crucial so that development takes place on two fronts, namely ICT as a dynamic sector on its own, and secondly, ICT as a performing enabler for the other sectors of the economy. We are living in a very exciting ICT era. New technologies and the digitalization of many processes are creating unprecedented challenges in terms of economic and political paradigms. ICT, through the borderless telecommunications capabilities and mobile broadband, are pervading the geographical barriers to make the world a global marketplace. And the digital economy is increasingly becoming an inherent growth potential for countries the world over. Countries that are recognizing the digital highway as one of the vectors of growth and are harnessing its potential to the fullest are more equipped to position themselves and reap the accruing benefits. Adapting this new phenomenon within the shortest span of time is now the biggest challenge for many Commonwealth countries, and more particularly all countries in the African Union. We all know that we have in the African Union 32 countries which have been listed as least developed countries, and it is our duty at the CTO to help these countries to grow out of their situation and create an ICT framework that will propel them to growth and economic development, and also to ward off the pangs of underdevelopment and poverty. It is widely acknowledged that the technological advancement of the last few decades have triggered new avenues for wealth creation and well-being within many rich countries of the world. E-commerce and related application of ICT have today developed into engines of economic growth and productivity and are shaping new models of development. Unfortunately, not all countries are able to unleash their ICT potential and capture such opportunities and benefits. The great divide between rich and poor countries, mostly associated with disparity in economic and social conditions, is equally prevalent, and it is becoming a cause of concern in the realm of ICT. While the rapid growth of the Internet and the continuing digitalization of society are much heralded events in the developed countries, many developing nations are still occupying an observer position and pondering on how to participate in the rapid technological changes that are taking place around them. Therefore, in my humble view, two questions should hold your attention and guide the process of your discussions during this forum. Firstly, how can ICT help businesses, governments, and communities become more productive and effective to drive the economic growth in this highly competitive world? As it is widely accepted and confirmed by the United Nations Development Programme in a report that it is science, technology, and ICT that are going to be the engine of growth in this 21st century. So, secondly, how do we, the Commonwealth countries, prepare ourselves for the networked world? I'm confident that by the end of your meeting, you would have found some of the answers to these questions, thus paving the way for us to join the global information networks for the benefit of our people. We are all alive to the fact that without a concerted effort, we will not be able to accede to the global networked economy. Otherwise, the gaps between developed and developing countries in terms of living standards will continue to widen, leaving the productive use of these technologies confined to the developed countries of the world. This forum, which aims at reflecting on the use of the mobile broadband for development, is therefore extremely pertinent and should, to my mind, go a long way in bridging the digital divide gap. I am given to understand that the mobile broadband technology encompasses many innovative solutions and hold a greater promise for a better sustainability of the ICT industry. But in order to move forward, there is an imperative need to create a proper mobile broadband ecosystem with various components which, when implemented together, will create a bigger ICT vision both for the Commonwealth region and for our individual countries. I understand that there are a number of practical issues that need to be addressed as a matter of priority, like the assessment of individual members, their state of preparedness for ICT-related projects, and an appropriate appraisal framework, all of which are relevant to policymakers, business people, and community leaders in their move to unlock our ICT potential. I believe that the value of a nation in assessing the readiness lies in evaluating its unique opportunities and challenges. It is equally true that most countries will not be uniformly ready across all evaluation criteria, and this is where we have, as a community, as the Commonwealth community, tried to help those countries who are lagging behind in order to join the information highway. However, the scope and details of such assessment framework make it a powerful tool for identifying a nation's strategic priorities for participating in the networked world. As a bottom line, we can argue that success in the information age depends, by and large, upon the widespread integration of ICT society. Only then can we develop creative solutions and new models that will radically reshape businesses. I am informed that the new ICT based on mobile and ubiquitous broadband is a powerful tool that can be used to address a host of issues such as money transfer, information and weather forecast, online shopping, air bookings, to name a few. But I would like to believe that its real power lies in its ability to support holistic development that is capable of promoting long-term socio-economic benefits for our people. In other words, it is the broadband. If the broadband is manned effectively, It can help create a trained and educated workforce that can ensure and effectively sustain success for generations to come and contribute to overcome underdevelopment, poverty reduction, as well as women empowerment. Obviously, the value of the network increases as its number of users grows. By participating in the global information network, developing countries not only add value to the rest of the world, but also benefit from the ability to use the network to communicate and trade with all other users. It is therefore befitting for the developing countries of the Commonwealth to be prepared for the networked world as active participants in order to enhance its economic, social, and political well-being. These opportunities for positive change are increasingly relevant and achievable as ICT becomes more powerful and less expensive through the effective regulatory frameworks established in our markets. Just as nations are different from each other, so are leadership styles and goals in the development and implementation of ICT initiatives. In some communities, businesses may take the lead. In others, especially in the developing countries of the Commonwealth, government remains the major driver. Be that as it may, a strong partnership involving all the stakeholders will provide the best foundation for cooperation on all future actions. This forum is obviously an excellent manner to foster that cooperation and partnership to take the process ahead. The strength of this partnership for collaborative growth and economic prosperity should be facilitated by the free flow of knowledge and information in a seamless manner, cutting across levels and boundaries and embracing all walks of life. Today, we have at hand new and powerful tools and technology that we can allow nations to better chart the road for enhanced growth and economic prosperity. For example, the Internet revolution has proved to be a powerful tool for good governance initiatives, as it makes it possible to provide services anytime, anywhere, and delivery of services is considered as a primary function of the government. It beholds us now to take up the challenge. With these words, I wish you all good luck in your deliberations. In a lighter note, for those of you who have traveled to Mauritius for the first time, I would urge you to take time away of your heavy schedule to explore its beauty and the exotic places in our island, as has been very well put forward by Mr. Dastuma by quoting Mark Twain. I have now the pleasure to declare the forum open. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. As both the President of the Republic and the ICT Minister said, Mauritius relies on the ICT sector to become a key economic pillar for the country. This has always been the vision of the Prime Minister of Mauritius, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam, who gives all his support to the sector. And now the CEO of CTO, Professor Tim Unwin, will present a memento to His Excellency, the President of the Republic, and to the Honorable Minister. Okay. Thank you, Professor. In our program this morning, we have also a mobile hackathon. I will invite the chairperson of ICTA, Mr. Trilok Duoka, to explain briefly the functioning of this operation, and he will invite the President of the Republic to launch the hackathon.
I'll not make a second speech. I'll just have a few introductory words to, first of all, say that Often technology doesn't wait for institutions to come up with blueprints or roadmaps. If we are to compete in the global marketplace of apps, I think initiatives like the hackathon, which is being organized today, are essential. The ICT is pleased to support the funding of the application that will be generated by the hackathon. Maybe a word on what is a hackathon. The intention is a group brainstorm to nurture new ideas, to inspire and engage digital communities in problems. This morning, we are launching at the hands of His Excellency Kailash Periag, a software coding party with an altruistic motive. The challenge we are setting to the youngsters who are lined up there and who deserve your encouragement is that at the end of 30 hours in the Frangipani room outside in the foyer, 2 teams of software developers will emerge with a solution that will transform, we hope, public transportation in Mauritius. They are challenged to develop overnight a simple prototype which is ubiquitous, affordable, functional, and well-designed, and which we hope can be replicated in other parts of the Commonwealth. I would now request the President to launch the application on a Penta tablet so that the countdown can begin. Thank you.
And then everybody go there for the group photograph. The President will join.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony is nearly over, but all delegates are invited for a group photo session. It will be on the left. We let our main guests go outside first, and then other delegates would follow. And in the meantime also, the CEO of CTO and his team will accompany our guests for a guided tour at the stands. On behalf of CTO and ICTA, I wish you all a fruitful forum. Thank you.
Could I